Check this out. In 1992, a 15-year-old Spanish boy is playing in the youth teams of his favorite club, Atlético Madrid, in hopes of being the next big star. Until one day, the academy was shut down to cut costs. In other words, Atlético rejected him. So what did he do? He walked across town to join their arch rivals Real Madrid, determined to prove Atlético made a huge mistake. Little did anyone know this teenager would grow into a legend wearing Real's famous white kit, all while carrying a chip on his shoulder the size of the Spanish capital. This is the epic story of Raúl, the kid who turned rejection into fuel and became one of football's all-time greats. Raúl grew up in a working-class Madrid neighborhood, a die-hard Atlético fan thanks to his father. He joined Atlético's youth ranks and even won a national title with their cadet team. But in 1992, Atlético's president Jesus Gil made the shocking decision to disband the club's youth academy to save money. Suddenly, Raúl had no team. It was a heartbreaking twist. Real Madrid, always on the lookout for talent and maybe a chance to one-up Atlético, swooped in and signed the talented 15-year-old. Atlético's loss became Real's gain. Raúl entered La Fábrica, Real Madrid's academy, quietly dreaming of revenge by succeeding in the rival colors. He quickly proved his worth in Real's youth sides, scoring goals by the bucket load. 16 goals in 9 games for Real Madrid C. At this point, coaches simply couldn't ignore his knack for finding the net. In October 1994, at just 17 years old, Raúl was called up from the reserves by Real coach Jorge Valdano. Talk about a bold move, benching legendary striker Emilio Butragueño to start an unproven teenager. On the 19th of October 1994, Raúl made his professional debut in an away match against Real Zaragoza. He didn't score that day, but he made an immediate impact by setting up a goal for teammate Ivan Zamorano. You could already see the flashes of brilliance. His intelligent movement and confidence on the ball stood out, even if he missed a couple of chances. A week later, Valdano showed even more faith in the kid and started him in the Madrid derby against Atlético. Yes, the club that had let him go just 2 years prior. Talk about fate. And Raúl rose to the occasion in storybook fashion. In that 5th of November 1994 derby at the Santiago Bernabeu, Raúl scored his first senior goal against his former club Atlético. He even assisted Zamorano again and earned a penalty in a rousing 4-2 victory. A star was born, and how fitting that his first goal was like a dagger to Atlético's heart. By the end of the 1994-95 season, the 17-year-old Raúl had cemented himself in Real's lineup, scoring 9 goals in 28 league appearances and helping Real Madrid clinch the La Liga title that year. League champion as a teenager? That's not a bad rookie season. His fearless performances and goal-poaching instincts even earned him the Spanish League's Breakthrough Player Award for the 94-95 season. Raúl quickly became a fan favorite. He played with a youthful swagger, fearless, hardworking, and always in the right place at the right time. In those early days, he was already being hailed as the heir to Butragueño's throne, and he didn't disappoint. In the 96-97 season, still only 19 years old, Raúl scored 21 league goals and guided Real Madrid to another La Liga title. Imagine a kid barely out of high school topping the scoring charts for one of the world's biggest clubs. Real Madrid was once again league champions, and Raúl was their new hero. The kid from Atlético's discarded academy was now a superstar in the making at the Bernabeu. As the years went on, Raúl kept hitting new heights. By the late 1990s, he formed a lethal partnership up front with Fernando Morientes and later played alongside the Brazilian Ronaldo. Trophies started piling up. Raúl was pivotal in Real Madrid's resurgence in Europe. During 1998 to 2002, Real won the Champions League 3 times, and Raúl's contributions were enormous. He had a habit of scoring in big games. In fact, Raúl became the first player to score in 2 Champions League finals since the competition was renamed in 1992. He scored in the 2000 final against Valencia and again in the 2002 final against Bayer Leverkusen. The goal in Paris in in 2000 was especially memorable. Raul raced clear on a counter-attack, rounded the goalkeeper and put the ball in the net to help Real secure its 8th European Cup. These clutch moments on the biggest stage made him the face of Real Madrid's glory years. By age 25, Raul had 3 Champions League winners' medals, stuff that football players dream of their whole careers. Domestically, Raul kept firing as well. He won another La Liga title in the 2000-2001 season, scoring 24 league goals to claim the Pichichi Trophy. Another league title followed in 2002-2003, where despite missing some games due to an emergency appendicitis surgery, Raul still managed 16 league goals. By this time, with legendary captain Fernando Hierro leaving the club in 2003, Raul was the obvious choice to take over the captain's armband. The boy who arrived as a nervous teen was now El Capitan of Real Madrid. He was still only 25 when he became captain, but already a veteran in terms of experience. One of Raul's most iconic moments came in October 1999 during a Clásico against Barcelona at the Camp Nou. With nearly 100,000 hostile Barca fans whistling and jeering, Raul scored a crucial late equalizer, and then he famously put his index finger to his lips, silencing the Camp Nou. It was a bold, cheeky celebration, the kind of thing you do when you have ice in your veins. That image of Raul hushing the entire stadium in their own backyard is legendary among Madrid fans. It showed Raul's personality, not arrogant, but absolutely unafraid of big moments or big atmospheres. By the early 2000s, he was regularly Real's top scorer, a clutch performer, and the embodiment of the team's fighting spirit. Let's talk crazy stats. Raul was prolific. In 2001, he finished second in Ballon d'Or voting, recognized as one of the world's best. He was the Champions League top scorer back to back. Year after year, he hit double figures in goals, and he did it all without ever losing his cool. Amazingly, Raul never received a single red card in his entire professional career. 17 years at the top level, nearly 1,000 games played, and not one sending off. Talk about sportsmanship and discipline. He played hard but fair, earning universal respect. Fans called him El Siete or El Capitan, and even El Ferrari for his speed and elegance. By 2003, Raul had won everything with Real Madrid, except oddly the Copa del Rey, which eluded him despite 2 final appearances. But that hardly dimmed his legacy. He was now the club's all-time leading scorer, passing the great Alfredo Di Stefano's record of 307 goals in 2009. Raul's record of 323 Real Madrid goals would stand until Cristiano Ronaldo surpassed it years later. He also became the first player to reach 50 goals in the Champions League and the first to make 100 Champions League appearances. In every sense, Raul was writing his name into the history books. Every career has peaks and valleys. After the initial Galactico era, Real Madrid went through some turbulent years in the mid-2000s, and Raul had to adapt too. He was no longer the quicksilver kid he once was. Injuries and the sheer mileage of games meant his role evolved. He began playing a bit deeper at times, creating for teammates and mentoring younger players like a rising Sergio Ramos or Gonzalo Higuain. Goal tallies in the league dipped for a couple of seasons. Critics started to whisper that he was past his prime, but Raul, ever the fighter, proved them wrong. In the 2007-8 season, already in his 30s, he enjoyed a renaissance, scoring 18 league goals and captaining Real Madrid to yet another La Liga title. He matched that 18-goal mark again in the 2008-9 season. Even as new superstars arrived at Real, Raul remained the heart and soul of the team, providing leadership and clutch goals when needed. By 2010, after 16 years in the first team, Raul's playing time was starting to decrease, inevitable with age and new Galacticos in town. In April 2010, he made his last appearance for Real Madrid in a poetic fashion. His final touch in a Real shirt was was to score a goal, and not just anywhere. He scored at the La Romareda Stadium against Real Zaragoza, which was the very same venue where he had made his debut back in 1994. How's that for coming full circle? The kid who began his journey in Zaragoza ends his Real Madrid chapter with a goal on the same ground 16 years later. That turned out to be Raúl's 323rd and final goal for Real. In the summer of 2010, at 33 years old, Raúl and Real Madrid parted ways. He left the club as a living legend, having made 741 appearances and scored 323 goals for Los Blancos, lifting 16 major trophies with the club. The Bernabeu gave him a heartfelt farewell. Many fans were in tears knowing the boy who grew into Mr. Real Madrid was moving on. And move on he did, but Raúl wasn't done writing his story. Parallel to his club heroics, Raúl also had a significant, if bittersweet, international career with the Spanish national team. He made his senior Spain debut in 1996 as a teenager, quickly becoming a key player for La Roja. For a while, Raúl was Spain's all-time leading scorer until David Villa surpassed him. He earned 102 caps for Spain and wore the captain's armband for several years. He played in 3 World Cups and 2 European Championships. But unlike his glorious club career, Raúl's time with Spain was marked by so close yet so far moments and a tinge of sadness. One of the most gut-wrenching moments came in the Euro 2000 quarterfinals against France. Spain were trailing 2-1 in the final minute when they won a penalty. With regular penalty taker Gaisca Mendieta subbed off, Raúl stepped up to take the most pressure-filled kick of his life. Millions of Spaniards held their breath, and Raúl blasted the penalty over the crossbar. It was a shocking miss at the worst possible time. Spain was eliminated. He left the field covering his face with his shirt, the weight of the miss on his shoulders. That miss became a defining image of heartbreak. In the 2002 World Cup, Raúl was in fantastic form early in the tournament, but unfortunately got injured and Spain fell to South Korea in a controversial match. By 2006, Raúl's influence in the national team started to wane as a new generation emerged. After the 2006 World Cup, at only 29 years old, Raúl shockingly found himself out of the Spain squad. The national team coach, Luis Aragonés, made a bold call to drop the veteran captain as he rebuilt the squad. It was a huge controversy in Spain. Raúl was adored by fans, but Aragonés' decision was firm. Spain went on to win the Euro 2008 without Raúl, and suddenly the country's years of underachievement turned into a golden era. For Raúl, watching his compatriots lift the trophies from afar must have been bittersweet. He never officially announced an international retirement, but effectively his Spain career ended in 2006 with those 102 caps. It was a case of a great player whose timeline didn't quite match up with his nation's greatest triumphs. Still, Raúl remains regarded as one of Spain's greatest ever players, and fans remember his goals and leadership for a team that was still finding its way. He had given a decade of service, captained his country, and scored in Euro and World Cup tournaments. But a major international trophy sadly never came his way. Those near misses and that fateful penalty are as much a part of Raúl's story as the victories. They added a layer of humanity to the legend. When Raúl left Real Madrid in 2010, many wondered if he'd retire one club man. Instead, he surprised everyone by signing with Schalke 04, a German Bundesliga club eager to keep playing at a high level. Trading the Bernabeu for the Veltins Arena in Gelsenkirchen was a bold move. New country, new language, and fans who weren't sure what to expect from a 33-year-old veteran. But Raúl quickly won the hearts of Schalke supporters. He may have swapped shirts, but he did not drop his standards one bit. In Germany, Raúl proved there was plenty of magic left in him and went on to tally 40 goals in 98 appearances in all competitions over 2 seasons for Schalke. Beyond the numbers, he brought class and experience to the team. In the 2010-11 season, Raúl helped Schalke on a historic UEFA Champions League run. He scored crucial goals in the knockout stages, including an away goal at Valencia and a double against Inter, as Schalke reached the Champions League semi-finals for the first time ever. Even at 34, on Europe's biggest nights he was delivering, showing that killer instinct never left him. On the domestic front, Raúl achieved something in Germany that he never did in Spain. He won a national cup. Schalke made it to the German Cup final in 2011, and Raúl started in the final as they triumphed 5-0 in Berlin to lift the cup. It was Raúl's first ever domestic cup win. Funny how football works. He couldn't get a Copa del Rey in 16 years with Real, but grabbed the German Cup in his first season abroad. He followed it up by also winning the German Super Cup in 2011 with Schalke. The Spanish maestro had become a fan favorite in Gelsenkirchen. The Schalke faithful admired his professionalism and humble attitude. Despite being a global superstar, Raúl endeared himself by always applauding the fans and working hard for the team. By the end of the 2011-12 season, Raúl decided to move on from Schalke, but not before an emotional farewell. In his last home game, Schalke fans paid tribute with a giant tifo and thousands of Raúl masks held up in the stands. In just 2 years, he had become a Schalke legend too, a testament to his impact. In Germany, Raúl proved that his class was universal and that the spirit of a champion travels with you wherever you go. Having conquered Spain and enjoyed success in Germany, Raúl still wasn't ready to hang up his boots. His next stop was an unexpected one to some: the Middle East. In 2012, Raúl signed for Al Sadd in Qatar, looking for a new experience and also acting as a global ambassador for football's growth. In typical Raúl fashion, he made sure his presence counted. He was named captain of Al Sadd and led by example, guiding the team to the Qatar Stars League title in the 2012-13 season. Raúl scored 9 goals in 22 league matches that year and helped Al Sadd secure their first league championship in 5 years. Even in a very different footballing environment, he approached the game with the same winning mentality. In 2014, he added another medal to his collection by winning the Emir of Qatar Cup with Al Sadd. The level of play in Qatar might not have been as intense as Europe, but Raúl gave the fans plenty to cheer, and he mentored many of the local players with his vast knowledge. After 2 years in Qatar, Raúl decided to cap off his playing career in a place where many football icons has gone: the United States. In 2014, he signed with the New York Cosmos, a storied club name from the old NASL days that had been reborn in a new North American soccer league. It wasn't about money or fame at this point. It was about the love of the game and helping soccer grow in America. Raúl, now nearing 38 years old, still had that competitive fire. In 2015, he led them to win the NASL Soccer Bowl, fittingly ending his career with yet another trophy. The Cosmos' victory in November 2015 was essentially Raúl's final match, and of course, he went out as a champion. Storybook stuff. Even in the USA, far from the spotlight of European football, Raúl's professionalism shone. He scored 8 goals in 28 appearances for the Cosmos and, more importantly, passed on his wisdom to the younger teammates. When that 2015 season wrapped up with the Cosmos lifting the NASL title, Raúl announced it was time to finally retire as a player. He was 38 and had given his all on every corner of the planet. The Cosmos and their fans bid him farewell with the chants of "Raúl, Raúl," echoing one last time. He left the pitch with a smile, ending a remarkable playing journey that spanned over 2 decades, 4 countries, and an endless list of achievements. You might think after such a long career, Raúl would take a well-earned rest, but that's not Raúl. His love for football is too deep. After hanging up his boots, Raúl eventually found his way back home to Madrid. He took on roles as an ambassador for La Liga and Real Madrid, and it wasn't long before he was drawn into coaching. In 2018, Raúl began coaching Real Madrid's youth teams. By 2019, Raúl was appointed manager of Real Madrid Castilla, the club's reserve team that play in Spain's lower division. This is a crucial stepping stone for future Real Madrid managers. In 2020, he led the Real Madrid's under-19 squad to win the UEFA Youth League, showing that his winning touch also applies as a coach. All the while, Raúl remains an unofficial ambassador of Real Madrid. He is spoken of as a future Real Madrid first-team manager in waiting, and that would truly be a full-circle story. For now, his presence reminds everyone of the club's core values: humility, hard work, and loyalty. He's also been involved in charitable causes and promotional events, always carrying himself with that same class he had as a player. Retirement hasn't really been a rest for Raúl. It's just a new chapter of contributing to the sport he loves. As we look back on Raúl's journey, it almost reads like a stereotypical Hollywood script. The boy rejected by one club becomes the icon of its rival. Raúl's story is as much about heart and character as it is goals and trophies. But beyond the silverware, Raúl is beloved because of how he played the game and the emotions he gave us. He was the player who kissed his wedding ring after each goal to dedicate it to his wife. He embodied loyalty, 16 years at Real Madrid, captaining them through ups and downs. For Los Blancos fans, Raúl is the soul of Real Madrid. His famous number 7 jersey was later worn by Cristiano Ronaldo, but ask any longtime fan and they'll tell you that Raúl set the standard. For Spaniards, he's the hero who carried the national team's hopes for years. For Schalke fans, he's a Spanish gentleman who embraced their club and gave them unforgettable moments. For everyone else, Raúl is simply a player you had to respect. From the boy who was told no by Atlético to the man who became a legend at Real Madrid just to prove them wrong. It's the kind of football story that reminds us why we love this game. It's not just about talent, but about heart, loyalty, and the moments that give us goosebumps. Raúl González Blanco gave us so many of those moments. His name is etched into Real Madrid's history and the hearts of fans worldwide. Gracias, Raúl.